Hey, my name's Shawnshawn. I sell art on shawnshawn.co. Today we're going to react to Nuwan Darshana. So Nuwan is from Sri Lanka, so he's a naturalistic landscape painter, so he's focused in on that. If you look at the YouTube banner, he has one of his paintings zoomed in of just the landscape. He hasn't done quite the right way to do it because you have this white strip here on the end, so he probably has to adjust that and play around with that. YouTube will give you the proportions, but you probably just shrink it a little bit and then it'll expand to the rest of that TV set. I like that just idea of just having a nice one of your paintings across that really gives you. He's highly branded, just specialized on landscape paintings, so I think that's good. He has a painting, his profile is a picture of himself, but he's not smiling, he's just like, If you're selling to customers, you want to be like, hey, or at least smile a little bit, because smile sells more than not smiling. Maybe in Sri Lankan culture, people don't smile much. In photos, is common in some other cultures like Russia. You're considered an idiot if you smile, so. But that doesn't really help your sales if you're not smiling. Especially if you're selling abroad. Abroad people in the West like a smile, so. Unless all your sales in Sri Lanka, smile for the profile, and people locally think you're an idiot, but you'll sell more abroad, so I would encourage that. Off the top, this is the For You from YouTube. So no intro video. It'd be kind of nice to include one of probably the most popular videos, your intro video probably. He has videos going across, popular videos, and shorts. So just really nice, short and sweet. You could probably put the popular videos on top, because if a brand new viewer, which are probably 70, 80, 90% of your viewers are new, they're gonna come and they don't know who you are. So you have your popular viewers at the top. They might binge watch all this, increase your watch time, increase your subscriber base right out the gate. You could divide your paintings, landscapes into probably woodland, oceanscapes, riverscapes, and have those three lists below as well. Because you're starting to get a lot of videos, so you could probably expand those playlists, I think. But pretty good off the gate. He probably set it up earlier and hasn't really thought about much. Let's go to the first video. First video is how to paint tree details with acrylic paints, time-lapse number 48. So details is misspelled, so you don't want that. You'd get that looks unprofessional, even though you're obviously a professional painter. Number 48, I would just strip all those 48s and 46 and whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just let YouTube decide which is the most popular video, and then people will see it in that view versus per se. People don't really care if it's your number 48 video or not. Doesn't add anything. So let's start the video. So here's the title pop up so you know how to paint this landscape. Subscribe, okay, you gotta have that in there. Just playing classical music, which is classical, using time-lapse to make it go fast. There's no voiceover, so you don't know the personality of Darshana, I think it says. I'm sorry. I forgot how to pronounce your name. He's starting with a nice blue background, which makes sense. I would just do the whole thing and then sketch out the trees on top. Because now you have to go in and repaint the trees again, which is kind of a pain in the ass. Let's skip ahead a little bit, guys. So he's got some really high detail on the leaves, which is really amazing, which is probably making his work really stand out versus other landscape painters. Because he's got that tiny brush and really making those tiny, tiny leaf stroke, which is amazing on a bigger canvas. And he's redoing the blue sky, but it doesn't look like it's touched again, so that's really smart. He's really put in the blue sky, but then it doesn't look like the paint is overlapping, even though it is. Let's scroll ahead just a little bit more, guys. So we can see he's doing the bark and the branches. Just really nice, soothing music, so you just get a chill vibe to this. A lot of viewers like this kind of just space out, watch painting videos, so this is a good style to go with, but a voiceover would really add a lot, unless you really can't speak English well. But you can hire someone to do the English if you need to, I think. Might be like $10 a video or something, get a really good voiceover. But yeah, that might really help sell this video a lot more. But I would use your own voice unless you really don't know how to do English. It would just add a little bit more to the video of like what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you chose these colors, things you do so you don't do in the video as far as painting wise. It's got triple layering of the leaves, which looks really nice. Let's scroll a little bit more, guys. He's adding in the bushes, the bottom. So that's a really classical way to do a landscape, is just work your way from the back to the front. I would work that way as well, it's just easier. It's got very nice dark to lights there. You get two different regions, he's maintaining that within their own zones. A little bit of light there, but I don't think the leaves will be white there per se. Probably more yellow on the top, on those highlights, on the dark areas even. Unless you're trying to show that the sky is focused. let's look close to the end, guys. So he's adding some of the real needle details, the brush and the shrub. Some little nice touch over. He's got the final details kind of scaling out. Look like he's wearing some kind of hat, not like me maybe. I don't know. Adding some highlights into the fields. So I think this is a pretty good painting. Very nicely done. Very just classical landscape realism. This next painting is called Painting a Realistic River with Acrylic Time-Lapse number 40. So no spelling errors this time, that's good. You might want to add your name by Nuwan, or, you know, that would be kind of cool so you know each time, oh, it's Nuwan painting. So here he's done like a vertical kind of TV set, which is kind of sucky. I would try to fit horizontal, or fit it to horizontal so you can use the whole screen on YouTube. Just maybe zoom in more. But he's doing the whole painting, so he's focused on more of the painting than the outside details. Classical music again, no voiceovers, so all time lapse, no slowdown, which the slowdown would be nice to kind of get some of the details in, see how they're done. Very nice blends, very nice colors. Let's scroll a little bit more ahead. So he's adding in the water here. Again, choosing the same colors as the sky, that's very smart. A little bit darker in some of the forest areas, so you want that to kind of, that should be darker than kind of the tree line because the water has depth. So a lot of river landscape artists would kind of skip that it's kind of a pure reflection, which is okay, but you kind of want to also show that there's depth to the water with a little bit darker elements there. We'll see how that develops. Really great tree line just developing there. Like, it's amazing the amount of detail, just like wild. Like, he's got this tiny brush stroke and it's like a big canvas, like but it really makes the painting. It really makes it look like there's real leaves there, tiny leaves. So you can see that really adds a lot of detail to this to make it look like a real in-depth painting that's really sharp. Oh, this time he's wearing a baseball cap, so he doesn't wear a beret, he wears a baseball cap. Very nicely done. Let's skip a little more ahead, guys. So he's kind of fine-tuning the water, adding some shapes, darker shapes, that's good. He's kind of adding maybe some of the rocks underneath. So yeah, that was what I was talking about earlier. There was not really those rock elements. He's kind of overstepping the original, just general shape to make it look, the water look rough on the end, which is really good. So I like that he used like kind of the general shape, color shapes of the forest, and now he's just kind of fine-tuning with the rocks, which is really smart. He'll probably go and add maybe some of the sky elements, maybe that bleed back into the water as well, in the forest. We'll see. Let me scroll a little bit ahead, guys. So he uses many rocks, so that's really cool. So you get a real feel for the water underneath, which is really impressive. Really well done there, I'd say. So he's captured really the feel of the water, the dirtiness of the water, and then of course the sky reflection as well. And he has added some skylights in there. Again, a voiceover would be really nice here to kind of explain some of these elements that I'm explaining. Just amazing amount of detail in the rocks. That really makes the painting really pop, I would say. Oh my god, I don't have my light on. I just discovered that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm not going to reshoot that video though. Alright, let's scroll to the end here. So just adding a lot of different details. He's adding further into the water, which is nice with the sky breaking through some areas. Adding some more rocks further out, which is nice. I don't think you'd have the white around the rocks, but it really makes them pop. More details to the rocks in the foreground, which is really nice. It's not just sky, there's actually little variation there. You can see there's rocks underneath that water, which is really awesome, I would say. Most people don't get that right. And I've lived on a river close to this, but my house is very similar, so I know how that would look. And you can just barely amount of little tiny decisions are made to like, oh, we need to highlight here. Da, da, da. Okay, let's add that color. Da, da, da. Very, very nicely done. I think his strongest thing is probably rivers. Let's go over here. This next one is called Painting a Seascape Landscape with Acrylic Time-Lapse number 74. So again, take out the 74, doesn't mean anything. I would even replace time-lapse possibly and put by Nuwan, I think his name is. I can't remember. Paint this landscape. So again, if you're going to say how to paint, then you have to have instruction in video or voiceover. But this is really nice. People like to kind of space out with a dreamy landscape like this with no instruction sometimes. But how to is kind of like a little bit not really what you're doing. It's more like ASMR painting. Very nice subtle sky. It's very, very close. You got classic, very blue ocean. Which if you have very shallow depth ocean, it will look this really light blue sky. But I would put more turquoise in the water, but just me. He's adding some really dark highlights with the land, which is really cool. Get that really sharp contrast. So I guess this is a cliff drop off, I want to say. Because if it's beach, it would be way more flat, I would say. Hard to say. Let's skip ahead a little more, guys. So I had some really far details out there. It was really great. Like, look at all the different tiny, tiny highlights. So it's basically a very deep bay, so to make that big wave like that. And then it comes up sharply at the end. He's got some green over here, but not a lot of green. I think there'll be a little more green closer up, but very nice details with all these little tiny elements to really make the painting pop, which is really set yourself apart from other landscape artists that might be very broad brush strokes. Let's go ahead a little more, guys. Just the end of the painting. Oh, he's adding stuff at the bottom. So it is kind of a cliff area, that's why it looks like that. Makes sense. So in California, it has a very similar coast where you have cliffs like this with a similar type of foliage and everything with the greens like looking like this. Maybe it's the same plants, who knows? But very similar plant foliage here. Let's go a little head further. So you can see just multiple layers there, starting with the dark and kind of adding highlights, and then adding darks where you need to kind of make it pop. But yeah, that multiple layering of colors is really making those leaves stand out, which is really smart. You can see to get really realistic leaves, you just have to layer. Just add more layers than most people, and you'll get a better leaf. Add a couple dark spots there. Again, this would be so improved with a voiceover to go over this, to kind of really talk about what he's thinking about as far as adding and stuff, taking away elements, adding, you know, slowly adding. Let's go to the very close to the end. Just adding the near details now, which is good. I think this would be cooler in a longer landscape format for this style of painting, but maybe that's what sells more in his local area. So I think I would take out that bottom area and just make it solid rock going continually, because it doesn't add much of that bottom piece added. Really, really cool painter. So he has two websites. They're both not, they're third-party websites, so I would not encourage this, but he has a Saatchi art. I have a Saatchi art, so he has a picture of himself. It's almost smiling, so a little better picture, I would say. You might want to think of more of an artistic kind of clothing, maybe sharper, stylistic kind of thing to have a profile shot. Because Saatchi is kind of the upper end, so with your higher priced artwork, you want to be here, so you're going to look more polished, I would say. You want to be authentic as well to your local culture maybe, but polished, I would say, is the best. So he has some prices here. So this one, let's go to this one. So this pulls up. You have a faraway shot. You have a wall shot, which Saatchi provides for you. Gives you a couple wall shots. And then here you can add your email in, then you'll automatically get, they're going to discount his work right off the bat, which isn't great by Saatchi, but if they sell it right. End of the day, you just want to sell it. Nuwan, that's his name, not Darshana. Sorry, man. Sorry, Nuwan. So yeah, this is a good place to start. You definitely want to have third-party websites. Like he has Etsy. He's starting up there. Saatchi. So you can do your lower end at Etsy, your higher end at Saatchi. Maybe have Society 6 added in there as well. But you want to have your own website as well, because then you can do about you. You can do videos from YouTube about your demos, maybe your events page, so like different shows you might do in Sri Lanka or if you travel abroad at all. And then you can maybe have links to your social media or different little blogs you can add in there. So that adds a better website. And if any one of these disappears, you lose all the work you put into it. I had that happen personally with MySpace, maybe say eBay per se or Saatchi. Any of those sites could disappear, or you say the wrong thing on social media and your account's pulled. So, you know, there's always a little bit of warning. You want to be in those third-party online marketplaces, but you also want to have your own website to have a little more customized feel and control, and have all your links go back to the website. It'll push it up, and then you can push that and sell straight from your website eventually. I would check you guys out for a look at Nuwan Darshana. If you guys want to subscribe, you can subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next Artist React video. See you guys.